My mother-in-law and I were trapped on the mountain by the mudslide. My husband came with the rescue team for the rescue, but his mistress was nowhere to be seen. I called him and he impatiently rebuked me. What are you making a fuss about? Don't you know that Mom Juan is very timid? She was so scared that she even cried in the hotel. The call was hung up. When I called again, there was only the busy tone. He didn't know that my mother-in-law, who was beside me, was on the verge of losing her breath. Later, when my mother-in-law was carried down the mountain covered with a white cloth, he was still comforting his mistress in the mountain hotel. My mother-in-law was buried under the mud. Her face turned purple due to the lack of oxygen. With great effort, she said, "Xiaoqing, how long will it take for our daughter to come?" With a sobbing voice, I desperately dug at the dirt and said, "They've already set off. They'll be here soon. I saw the rescue team half an hour ago. Mom, please don't fall asleep." My mother-in-law nodded and let out a sigh of relief. "I'll be at ease since our daughter is coming to save us. Xiaoqing, you should take a rest too." I wiped the mud and water off my face and dialed my husband Xinyu's number. It rang for a long time before he answered. "Hello Xinyu. When will you arrive?" Before I could finish, he interrupted me impatiently. "Lin Xinyu, can you stop making a scene? Are you annoying? I'm here for the rescue and you're still causing trouble." I quickly explained, "No, husband. My mother-in-law and I are trapped here. I wonder if you could come and save us first. Mom's situation is very dangerous." A disdainful sneer came from the other end of the phone. "I can see that you're full of vitality. You two can walk down the mountain by yourselves. I still have others to rescue." Just then, a woman's whimper and sob came from that side. I was stunned, feeling as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. I was all too familiar with that voice. It was Xinyu's mistress, Li Wanman. I gripped the phone tightly and my voice was dry as I said, "Xinyu, who's beside you?" He was taken aback for a moment and said indifferently, "Since you've recognized her, why are you still asking? Can't you be more sensible? You know how timid Wanwan is." The hotel lost power, and she was so scared that she cried while staying in the room alone. As if in response, a soft moan came from beside him. "Brother, you go and save sister-in-law. Don't worry about me. Wanman can manage on her own." Xinyu clicked his tongue. "See? She's so sensible. Unlike you, who's full of lies. Xinyu, I'm not joking with you. Mom is buried under the mud. If you don't come." Before I could finish, I was interrupted and rebuked by Xinyu. "Get lost. Who doesn't know that your mother is in your hometown? You're really unscrupulous trying to deceive me into coming to you. You're crazy." I held the phone tightly, listening to the busy tone. I knelt there in a daze, feeling extremely ironic in my heart. It turned out that Xinyu thought the mom I mentioned was my own mother. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw that my mother-in-law seemed to have fainted. I rushed over to wake her up and fed her the last bit of water. She slowly opened her eyes filled with hope. "Xiaoqing, will our daughter come?" I held back my tears and nodded vigorously. "She'll be here soon. Hold on, Mom. She'll arrive in a moment." My mother-in-law's breath grew weaker and weaker. The time she remained conscious became shorter and shorter. After I married Xinyu, my mother-in-law treated me as if I were her own daughter. I didn't want my mother-in-law to encounter any misfortune, nor was I willing to let that happen. So I went to the back and dialed Xinyu's number. Several calls were hung up. Finally, he answered. "Hello, Xinyu. I'm not kidding. Your mother is in a perilous situation." A sneer came from the other end. "Sister Xinyu, you've resorted to every means to see Xinyu. You even threatened him with his mother's life." I was anxious. "Give the phone to Xinyu, Li Wanwan. If something happens to my mother-in-law, can you take the responsibility?" Li Wanwan sneered and hung up the phone. I was so enraged that my hands were trembling, and the rain made me feel chilly. I refused to give up and called Xinyu repeatedly. Perhaps because I called too many times, Xinyu got irritated and answered the call. "Are you out of your mind? I'm really occupied." Wanwan's foot was scratched. Hearing his words, my heart became unexpectedly tranquil. "Xinyu, I'll say it once more. Your mother is buried under the mud and is in great danger. Come and rescue her quickly." There was silence on the other end. Just when I thought Xinyu had hung up the phone, he burst out in anger. "Lin Xinyu, you've really outdone yourself this time. Having failed to threaten me with your own mother, you actually dare to use mine. Are you even human? You even cursed my mother to be buried. Let me tell you, if you dare to call me one more time, don't blame me for disregarding our marital bond." Just then, Li Wanwan's sobbing came from the other side. "Woo, brother, my foot is killing me. Come and take a look. There's such a huge gash. Will it get infected?" "Don't be afraid, Wanwan. I've got antiseptic. Stop crying. You won't be as lovely if you cry." Xinyu's voice was astonishingly gentle. It was a gentleness I had never heard from him before. "Woo, brother, if I'm not pretty anymore because you dislike me, Will you still care about me? Silly. Look at you, you little crybaby. If I don't take care of you, who will? Their flirtatious exchange was like a dull knife, slowly slicing at my flesh. It was painfully cruel, as if cutting into my flesh bit by bit. I opened my mouth, my voice hoarse. Shinyu, I'm not kidding around. If you don't come, my mother-in-law will truly pass away. Shinyu flew into a rage, his tone menacing. Lin Qingyu, say that again. My mother treated you so kindly, yet you cursed her for your own selfish desires. You're truly malicious. I'll tell mother how you cursed her when I get back. Li Wanwan let out another exclamation on the other end. Brother Yu, the light in the room went out again. Come quickly, I'm so scared. Woo-woo, my leg also hurts so much. Woo-woo. Shinyu hurriedly hung up the phone. When I called back, his phone was already turned off. I touched my face, unable to tell whether it was tears or rain. Qingyu, where are you? My mother-in-law woke up. I quickly went back and forced a grim smile. Mom, I was just calling Shinyu. She nodded thoughtfully, her voice as faint as a wisp of thread. Yor isn't coming, is he? I tightly held my mother-in-law's hand, feigning a smile. How could that be? He'll be here soon. Don't lie to me. I heard your conversation just now. Qingyu, it's Yor who's sorry for you. It's his fault. Qingyu, I'm about to die. I'm having a hard time even speaking now. Take out your phone and record my last words to him. My mother-in-law's face had started to turn blue, and was somewhat pale from the soaking of the rain. I sobbed uncontrollably, took out my phone and turned on the camera. My mother-in-law whimpered. Shinyu, why won't you even save your own mother? Just for that so-called mistress of yours? Qingyu is a good child. You don't deserve him. Let him go and let yourself go too. Just live with your mistress for the rest of your life. By the way, don't take care of my funeral arrangements. Leave it to Qingyu. Just stay with your mistress. I put away my phone, covered my face, and tears mixed with rain spilled from between my fingers. No, Mom. There must still be a way to save you. You have to hold on. I dug frantically at the dirt with my hands like a madwoman. All the sounds around me seemed to be sucked away, leaving only the pattering of the rain. My mother-in-law was buried too deep. No matter how much I dug, it was useless. My mother-in-law firmly grabbed my hand to stop me. Qingyu, it's no use. You must live a good life in the future. My mother-in-law's hand dropped weakly, taking away her last bit of warmth. I lay on the ground and wailed. I don't know how long it took before the rescue team finally arrived. One of them was Shenyu's colleague. He was a bit surprised. Sister-in-law, why are you here? Isn't this Auntie? Quick, come and dig. Auntie, hold on. I covered my face with my hands. She's already gone. Shenyu's colleague's eyes widened in shock, stammering. Brother Shen arrived an hour ago. Why didn't he come? I forced a bitter smile. He's too busy to care about us. He unbelievably took out his phone to call Shenyu. As expected, it was turned off. Shenyu's colleague suddenly shouted. Sister-in-law, your hands are all blistered like this. Come on, we'll take you to the hospital. If you don't get this injury treated promptly, it will get infected. I followed his gaze and looked at my bloodied and mangled hands. So my hands had been dug like this. My mother-in-law was carried down the mountain covered with a white cloth, and I was taken to the hospital. Lying in the hospital ward, I called Shinyu again. This time it finally wasn't turned off. Lin Qingyu, are you crazy? As soon as I turned my phone on, your call came again. I sneered, my tone cool. Shinyu, Mom is in the hospital. Whether you come to see her for the last time or not is up to you. As expected, he cursed at me again. Brother Yu, my wound is hurting again. Come and take a look. Now that the mountain road is open, I'll take you to the hospital right away. I hung up the phone without any more hesitation, and blocked all his contact information. Such a person was hopeless. He didn't even care about his own mother. What was the use of him? When I was discharged from the hospital in the afternoon, I saw Shinyu and Li Wanwan in the hospital corridor. She was sitting on the bed, crying, and Shinyu was gently peeling a fruit for her. I let my eyes fall on Li Wanwan's leg, where there was a flimsy band-aid stuck. I rubbed my eyes to make sure I wasn't seeing things wrong. A band-aid. I covered my face and laughed mockingly. How ridiculous. My mother-in-law and I were just like two clowns. When they heard my laughter, they turned their heads in unison. Oh, Sister Qingyu is also in the hospital. You look really well. Looking well? I looked at the pale reflection in the glass door. Li Wanwan must be blind. The moment Shinyu saw me, his expression changed from surprise to disgust. Lin Qingyu, you really are persistent. You even followed us to the hospital. He looked at my hands wrapped in bandages and snorted disdainfully. You really act the part well just to follow me. Li Wanwan triumphantly raised her eyebrows at me. Brother Yu, don't say that. Maybe Sister Qingyu is really hurt. Look, there's so much mud on her clothes. The disgust in Shen Yu's eyes deepened. Look at the mess you've made. Is it so glorious to walk around in dirty clothes? Learn from Wanwan. Always stay refined no matter when. We came down from the mountain. Do you see any mud spots on her? I laughed derisively, feeling extremely bored, and turned to leave. I still had to take care of my mother-in-law's affairs. Seeing that I left directly, Shinyu got angry again and shouted behind me. Have you no manners? Are you mute? You can't speak? You're crazy, Lin Qingyu. I suggest you go to the neurology department and have your head checked. You're acting crazy all day long. I returned home and sat on the sofa, holding my mother-in-law's urn. Everything here seemed so glaring. I drew up a divorce agreement and waited for Shinyu to come back and sign it. But I didn't see Shinyu for 3 days. He was probably with his delicate and fragile mistress. I unblocked his number and called him. It rang for a long time before he answered. Lynching you, can you stop making a fuss? Wan was frightened that day and still hasn't recovered. I said expressionlessly, come back and sign the divorce agreement. It won't take long. It won't delay your lovey-dovey time. What are you crazy about? Wan and I are innocent. Before he could finish, I hung up the phone and sent him a message. If you don't want to sign, I'll directly file for divorce. In less than half an hour, Shinyu rushed back, panting. As soon as he entered the door, he sneered disdainfully, believing that I had used some trick to get him home. All right, your goal has been achieved. I'll have a meal with you. Stop making trouble. Wan is very delicate, not like you, a tomboy. I directly threw the divorce agreement in front of him. Sign it. He took a look at it and casually threw it aside, tugging at his tie. Oh, you're serious? Does Mom know you want to divorce me? Do you dare to tell Mom? I lowered my eyes to hide my sneer. Shinyu really was a match for Lee Wan. They were both blind. They couldn't see the urn I was holding in my arms at all. Seeing that I didn't speak, Shinyu thought I was scared. He picked up his phone and dialed my mother-in-law's number. It was turned off. He dialed again and it was still off. He impatiently ruffled his hair. What's going on? You and Mom are teaming up on me. I stood up, picked up the agreement and put it in front of him. Sign it quickly. Don't you have to go back and be with your mistress? Hurry up. Shinyu laughed. So that's it. You're just not satisfied with Wan and deliberately threatening me, right? Well, don't come begging me later. He quickly signed the agreement with a couple of strokes. I heaved a sigh of relief and got up to leave. Wait. Shinyu suddenly called out to me. What are you holding in your hands? I turned my back to him and said coldly, Mom's urn. Suddenly a great force yanked my shoulder. I stumbled and almost lost my balance. Shinyu stood in front of me, forcefully pinching my shoulder. Lynching you, how could you be so vicious? You're still cursing my mom. My mom treated you well enough. But it's good this way. She can see your ugly face clearly. We'll go get the divorce certificate this afternoon. And if you curse my mom again, I won't be lenient with you. He casually glanced at the urn in his hand and laughed scornfully. You're really something, lynching you. My mom will live a long and healthy life. You can keep this urn for yourself. With that, he picked up his clothes and slammed the door shut as he left. I chuckled and dragged my packed suitcase out the door. I went back to my mother-in-law's house, packed up, and then went out to look at the cemetery. I was so busy and flustered that I actually forgot the time to get the divorce certificate with Shinyu. He called to urge me. Lynching you, are you coming or not? You can't keep this up. If you kneel down and apologize to my mom, I'll forgive you. I bit my lip and said viciously. It's you who should kneel down and apologize to Mom. Wait, I'm coming right away. We successfully completed the divorce registration, but we still had to wait a month to get the divorce certificate. When we came out, Lee Wan was waiting for Shinyu outside. The band-aid on her leg had long been torn off, and her leg was as smooth as jade. There wasn't a trace of a wound to be seen. She cheerfully took Shinyu's arm. Brother, you finally came out. Sister-in-law, you're here too. With my mother-in-law's passing and the divorce registration, I no longer had to endure this scheming woman. Stop acting. Sister, can you come to the divorce registration alone? Oh, I remember you're almost 30 this year. Why do you act like an 8-year-old child? Do you need to go see a neurologist? Is your brain not fully developed? The smile on Lee Wan's face gradually faded, but she still didn't forget to use her fake voice. Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Don't call me sister-in-law. I've already registered for divorce with this idiot. Just wait 30 days to get married to him. Shinyu stood in front of Lee Wan with a gloomy face. Lynching you, watch your tone. Wan didn't provoke you. If you have any grievances, come at me. I looked him up and down, looking at him like he was a fool. You're so protective of Lee Wan? I sneer. Shinyu, I hope you can be as protective of her in the future. I turned and left, waving my hand. See you in a month. After I got back, Lee Wan posted a WeChat moments. Finally waited for you. The picture was of their hands intertwined, wearing rings. It should be a new ring Shinyu bought for her. I liked it. Soon after, Lee Wan posted another WeChat moments, which were 2 plane tickets. Going on a honeymoon first. Some people didn't even have a honeymoon. Don't be jealous. Just come back in a month to get married. I liked it again. It seemed that Shinyu really couldn't wait to compensate his mistress. They were going on a honeymoon before even getting married. But it had nothing to do with me. This month, I was busy handling my mother-in-law's affairs. I held a small funeral for my mother-in-law. Even the colleague who came to the rescue came. He said to me with red eyes, I'm sorry. If I could have come earlier, Auntie might not have died. But it wasn't his fault. Before he left, he joined me in scolding Shinyu for 2 hours. He never expected Shinyu to be so heartless that he didn't even come to his own mother's funeral. The pent-up anger I had had for a month finally vented out. I told his colleague that he didn't believe his mother had passed away at all. He thought everything I said was a lie just to get his attention. His colleague spat angrily. Don't worry, Sister Qingyu. Since he doesn't believe it, I won't say anything. Let's see how long it takes for him to find out. It's really unlucky to be in the same department as Shinyu. I would occasionally see the photos Lee Wan posted. Shinyu had a big smile of happiness on his face. I charged my mother-in-law's phone and turned it on. In this month, Shinyu didn't call on his own initiative. He only sent 1 or 2 WeChat messages, saying that I had divorced him and that he would bring his new girlfriend to meet his mother in a month, telling his mother not to get angry with herself. He said it was all my fault. How ridiculous. Go ahead and meet. You can both go underground and plead guilty to Mom. A month later, I went to the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau as promised. Not far away, Li Wanwan, wearing sunglasses and a sun hat, skipped over to me, holding Shen-Yu's arm, looking extremely happy. She waved her arm. Hi, Sister Qingyu. Shen-Yu gave me a look of disgust. You're dressed as if someone in your family has died. It's so unlucky. I looked down at the black dress I was wearing and smiled faintly. Isn't that the case? After getting the divorce certificate, Shen-Yu immediately pulled Li Wanwan to get married. Li Wanwan posted on WeChat moments, "True love can conquer all." When I got home, my mother-in-law's phone finally rang. It was Shen-Yu calling. I answered. Mom, I'm bringing you a good daughter-in-law. Don't worry about that vicious woman Lin Qingyu. She even cursed you to die. Wanwan is a kind and beautiful daughter-in-law. Are you home, Mom? We're coming over now. I sneered. Oh, the great filial son Shen finally remembers his mother. The other side was stunned for a moment and then shouted angrily, Lin Qingyu, are you crazy? What are you doing with my mother's phone? Let me tell you, we're already divorced. Stop pestering my mother. Get lost. Give the phone to her. I want to talk to her. I snorted coldly, my tone mocking. If you want to talk to Mom, go talk to her underground. I directly hung up the phone and lit a stick of incense in front of my mother-in-law's photo. Half an hour later, my mother-in-law's door was pounded on. Mom, open the door. I suddenly opened the door, and Shen-Yu stumbled into the room due to inertia. Behind him was Li Wanwan, looking timid. When she saw the furnishings in the house, she let out a scream and tightly grabbed Shen-Yu's clothes. Brother Yu, it's so scary. Has someone in the family passed away? Shen-Yu patted Li Wanwan to signal her not to be afraid. Lin Qingyu, I'm calling the police right now. How dare you come to my mother's house and make such a mess of it? Do you really wish my mother were dead? She used to treat you like her own daughter. You venomous woman. Her face was contorted with rage, as if she could pounce on me and tear me apart at any moment. Seeing my calm expression showing no sign of fear, she pointed at me. Very well. I'm calling the police right now. You've trespassed on private property. I folded my arms and raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. If you don't, you're a coward. The police arrived shortly. Shen-Yu, seething with indignation, led the police into the house. Officer, look at this vicious woman. She's turned my mother's house into something like a mourning hall. We're already divorced and she still barged in. Isn't this trespassing? She has such blatant disregard for the law. Officer, arrest her quickly. The leading police officer looked up at me. Since you're divorced, why did you enter his mother's house without permission? By the way, where is your mother? Shen-Yu shook his head. I don't know. This woman answered the phone when I called. I suspect she's hidden my mother away just to force me to see her. I stepped forward. Officer, this is my mother-in-law's house. My mother-in-law has passed away, and I'm handling her funeral arrangements. The two police officers exchanged a glance, furrowing their brows, looking puzzled. You're her son and you don't know? Shen-Yu's face turned beet red. He pointed at me and charged forward as if to hit me, but was promptly stopped by the police. He shouted furiously, Lin Qingyu, that's enough. You've been cursing my mother to die. You even dare to say it in front of the police. I'm telling you, I won't let you get away with this. The police officer said, Sir, calm down. Li Wanwan, hiding behind Shen-Yu, started crying and sobbed, accusing me of being too excessive. No matter what, you shouldn't curse an old person. I ignored the two lunatics and directly showed the police my mother-in-law's ID card. Officers, take a look. I'm not lying. The police officer inserted the ID card into their device. Looking at Shen-Yu with a strange expression, he then understood. You're her adopted son, right? Shen-Yu was stunned. What do you mean? Otherwise, how could you not know that your own mother has passed away? Shen-Yu swayed a couple of times, and Li Wanwan steadied him. Brother Yu, don't worry. Maybe the police made a mistake. The police officer was displeased. He frowned. What are you talking about? This is checked through the public security system. How could there be a mistake? Li Wanwan dared not speak anymore, her lips pressed into a thin line. Shen-Yu stumbled into the house. Seeing the portrait of the deceased on the living room wall and the incense I had just lit, he pounced forward like a madman. Mom! Mom! Tell me this is fake. It's fake, right? His eyes bloodshot, he turned to look at me. Lin Qingyu, when did Mom pass away? Why didn't you tell me? Why? You clearly knew I only had one mother left. Why didn't you let me see her for the last time? Shen-Yu glared at me, got up and charged towards me. The police held him back on either side. Speak calmly. Don't get physical. I replied indifferently. Shen-Yu, I told you many times. Did you ever believe me? You always thought I was lying to you. You went on a honeymoon with your new lover. Did you ever call to ask? Mother-in-law passed away on the day of the mudslide. The police officer looked at Shen-Yu with a hint of disdain. No, that can't be true. You must be lying to me. The police officer took a look at the device. Indeed, the date of death was on the day of the mudslide. Another police officer chimed in. I remember. The mudslide was over a month ago. You didn't even know this? By the way, I thought you looked familiar. Aren't you from the rescue team? You couldn't even save your own mother. Shen-Yu was like a man struck by lightning, standing dumbfounded in place. No, that's impossible. He kept muttering these words. He suddenly looked up and glared at me. Lin Qingyu, why didn't you tell me that day that Mom was buried underground? If you had, how could I not have gone to save her? I turned my head and looked at him coldly. Shen-Yu, do you need me to help you recall what happened that day? When I called you, you said I was cursing mother-in-law to die. You didn't believe me. Have you forgotten all that? Oh right. You were with your mistress at the mountain hotel that day. The hotel lost power, and she was afraid of the dark. So you had no time to care about us. With each word I said, Shin Yu's face grew paler. In the end it was as white as paper. The police officer clicked his tongue twice. What a filial son. Ms. Lee, you've really been wronged. You were handling the funeral arrangements and were wrongly accused by this filial son. Li Wanwan quietly went up and tugged at Shen Yu's sleeve. Brother Yu, don't be sad. Sister Qing Yu must have had her reasons for not telling you. I sneered. Li Wanwan was still trying to shift the blame onto me. At this point, Shen Yu's attention finally turned to Li Wanwan. He lunged forward and tightly grabbed Li Wanwan's neck. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you saying the hotel lost power, how could I have missed rescuing my mother? Li Wanwan's face turned purple from being choked. The police finally managed to pull them apart. Li Wanwan burst into tears, covering her neck and sobbing. It has nothing to do with me. Clearly lynching you didn't tell you. And did I tie your legs? You went wherever I told you. I looked down at the tip of my black shoes and smiled. Sister, I think your memory isn't so good either. When I said mother-in-law was buried, what did you say? You said I was joking about Shen Yu's mother, and that she would definitely be angry. Then you hung up the phone. The color drained from Li Wanwan's face. That's because you often lie. Couldn't you have called a few more times? Now the two of them were on the same side again. Yeah, lynching you. Couldn't you have called a few more times? You just watched mother die like this. You're an indirect murderer too. The police officer couldn't stand it anymore and scolded Shin Yu. Your own mother was trapped and you didn't go. You just stayed at the hotel with your mistress. How dare you blame others? You're from the rescue team. Yet you're really unworthy of being a rescuer. Shin Yu, how could you blame Sister Qing Yu? A furious shout came from the door. It was Shin Yu's colleague. Before Shin Yu came home, I had sent him a message. He once said he wanted to see Shin Yu regret with his own eyes, so I sent him a message. Shin Yu asked blankly, Xiao Zhao, why are you here? Xiao Zhao snorted. Why can't I be here? Your phone was turned off that day. We called you until our phones were out of battery but we couldn't get through. And you actually blame Sister Qing Yu. When I rescued Sister Qing Yu, your mother had already passed away. If we had arrived half an hour earlier, she could have been saved. At that time, Sister Qing Yu dug with her bare hands until they were bloodied and mangled to save your mother. And you? You were with your mistress at the hotel. Brother Shen, I used to admire you. Now I just think you've shamed us. You've insulted this profession. Shen Yu stiffly reached out and touched his face. It was covered in tears. He sobbed silently and asked me, Qing Yu, tell me, did mom leave any words for me? I retrieved the video and threw it to Shen Yu. See for yourself. These are the words mother-in-law said to you. Shen Yu, why won't you even save your own mother? Just for that so-called mistress of yours? Qing Yu is a good child. You don't deserve her. Let her go and let yourself go too. Just live with your mistress for the rest of your life. By the way, don't take care of my funeral arrangements. Leave it to Qing Yu. Just stay with your mistress. Mother-in-law's last words echoed in the living room. Shen Yu was crying uncontrollably. That's all? Mom only had these words for me. Otherwise, what else do you expect her to say to you? Li Wanwan, one of the parties involved, shrank aside, not daring to say a word. The two police officers were on guard at any moment, fearing that Shen Yu would suddenly attack and hurt someone. Suddenly, Shen Yu threw away the phone, let out a wail and ran out quickly. He disappeared in a flash. I looked at Li Wanwan. Aren't you going to chase after him? She shook her head. No, I'm not going. Brother, you must hate me to death. Look, their relationship was so fragile that it broke at the slightest touch. The police officer asked me a few more questions and told me to call the police immediately if there was anything unusual. Xiao Zhao cursed Shin Yu a few times at home and also told me to contact him if I needed anything. After everyone left, I went back into the house and wiped the photo frame of mother-in-law. Mom, it's been a month since you passed away. Shin Yu finally found out. The next day, I took mother-in-law's portrait back to the countryside. I remembered mother-in-law once told me that there was an ancestral hall in her hometown where portraits of the deceased were placed. I set the portrait in place, bowed and then left. I found mother-in-law's will in her house. She had written it a long time ago. She thanked me for my company and care and left all her inheritance, including the house, to me. She knew about Shin Yu and Li Wanwan's affair, so she didn't want to wrong me. If Shin Yu treated me well and we didn't divorce, the property would be shared. If he divorced me, all the property would be mine. Looking at the will, I couldn't stop crying. Mother-in-law, you're so silly. When I went home that night, I saw Shin Yu standing at the door staggering, holding a wine bottle. When he saw me, he walked towards me with a smile. I covered my nose and took a few steps back. I didn't know how much he had drunk. A strong stench of alcohol wafted towards me. Qing Yu, indeed, you're the best wife I've ever had. It's my fault about Mom. Mom's wish before was for us to be together. Well, let's remarry, okay? I'll divorce Li Wanwan. I looked him up and down. Only then did I realize how repulsive Shin Yu was. I didn't know how I had ever fancied him. What on earth do you think you are? Why do you think I still have feelings for you? He hiccuped. Qing Yu, don't be stubborn. If you didn't love me, why would you have handled Mom's funeral arrangements with such dedication? I tilted my head and smiled slightly. Because I have a conscience. She was just like my own mother. You go with your Li Wanwan. I feel sick just looking at you. Don't show up in front of me again. I quickly ran home and closed the door. I looked out of the window. Shin Yu stood there in a daze for a long time, then slumped to the ground and made a call. Before long, Li Wanwan came and helped him home. It seemed that their relationship was still quite deep. Shin Yu didn't blame Li Wanwan either, but it had nothing to do with me. On the 5th day, when I met Shin Yu at the door, I decided to sell mother-in-law's house and the family house. In the divorce agreement, the house between Shin Yu and me was mine. It was in a good location. Soon after I put it up for sale, someone bought it. With the money, I moved to another city. As for what happened to Shin Yu and Li Wanwan, it had nothing to do with me. Whether they loved each other or fought, it was their own business. Li Wanwan was still secretly mocking me on moments, inciting Shin Yu to claim mother-in-law's inheritance. I took out the will and Shin Yu fell silent. Li Wanwan was not reconciled and hired a lawyer, but to no avail. These two people were really annoying. I blocked them both. All these rotten people and things should get out of my life. In a foreign place with my solid professional skills and experience, I found a good job. I shook off my thoughts and buried myself in my work. However, I often received calls from Shin Yu's number, which made me very annoyed. Although it was hard, I still made up my mind and changed the phone card I had used for more than 10 years. Now the world was quiet. 3 months later, I heard news about Shin Yu. It was Xiao Zhao who told me. He said that since learning of mother-in-law's death, Shin Yu had been drinking his sorrows away every day, taking leave frequently, and refusing to go on missions. The leader had asked him to leave. I could hear the glee in Xiao Zhao's tone. Such a person doesn't deserve to be a rescuer at all. He also told me that because of this, Li Wanwan had a big fight with him and even made a scene at the company, believing that the leader was targeting him and demanding an explanation. Oh, I thought she was so tough. When I told her that she was the one who caused his mother's death, she scurried away with her tail between her legs and never went to the rescue team again. I took a sip of tea, smiled and said nothing. After asking Xiao Zhao about his recent situation, I hung up the phone. Their good days were yet to come. Half a year later, I heard about the two of them again. Li Wanwan was pregnant but then had a miscarriage. What I didn't expect was that the reason for the miscarriage was that Shin Yu had beaten her. He beat her with punches and kicks. It turned out that because of his resignation and difficulties in finding a job, and also because of mother-in-law's death, Shin Yu had blamed everything on Li Wanwan. So every time he got drunk, he took it out on Li Wanwan. When Li Wanwan had a massive hemorrhage in her lower body, they found out she was pregnant, and her own child had been beaten to death by her husband's fists. After the miscarriage, Li Wanwan's mental state deteriorated. Shin Yu knelt down and begged for her forgiveness, but within a few days his vows became empty words, and he started hitting her again. Li Wanwan shouted that if it weren't for her, his own mother wouldn't have died due to delayed rescue. Li Wanwan could no longer bear Shin Yu's beatings. She put rat poison in the dinner one day. However, Shin Yu was lucky. He didn't die, but his mind was damaged. Li Wanwan didn't care. She packed her things and ran away with an old man she had hooked up with. Hearing this, I clicked my tongue twice. Xiao Zhao continued on the other end of the phone. Sister Qingyu, you don't know. That old man has some strange fetishes. Li Wanwan couldn't take it and ran away. But this time she wasn't so lucky. The big shot caught her and beat her up. Now she's gone crazy. I sighed. 5 years later, I returned to the original city with my daughter and husband. As we turned a corner, I saw a familiar figure. He was filthy, reeking of stench, rummaging through the trash. When he passed someone, he would shout and ask if they had seen his wife. He was a madman. He suddenly turned his head and looked at our family of 3. My husband instinctively shielded me behind him. It was Shin Yu. He let out a scream, covering his head, and ran away laughing and crying. The end.